The story behind lost African American recipes your grandparents knew invites us into a rich tapestry of culinary history, one that has been quietly passed down through generations, yet often remains hidden from mainstream narratives. African American cuisine is a vibrant reflection of survival, creativity, and resilience. It draws from African roots, European influences, and the unique experiences shaped by the harsh realities of slavery, segregation, and systemic inequality. These recipes carry not only flavors but stories of families, communities, and cultures striving to maintain identity in the face of adversity. Imagine a kitchen filled with the aromas of freshly baked cornbread, slow-cooked greens, and savory stews, each dish bearing the imprint of a grandmother's hands and the lessons of generations before. These recipes were not just food. They were lessons in resourcefulness. Ingredients were often scarce, and what was available had to be transformed into nourishing, flavorful meals. Sweet potato pie, collard greens, fried chicken, and black-eyed peas are more than dishes, they are cultural landmarks, each telling a tale of ingenuity, adaptation, and love. The phrase, "your grandparents knew," evokes nostalgia and a personal connection. It reminds us of the oral traditions through which recipes were preserved. A grandmother teaching her grandchild to stir the pot just right, to season the meat with care, or to bake until golden brown. These moments were rituals, fostering both family bonds and the passing down of cultural knowledge. Unlike modern recipes that are often documented and standardized, these were living traditions, varying slightly from one household to another, shaped by available ingredients, regional tastes, and personal flair. Tasting History, as a series or concept, emphasizes the experiential nature of this culinary journey. It is not merely about cooking, but about engaging with history through taste. By recreating these lost recipes, one steps into the past, gaining insight into daily life, survival, and celebration within African American communities. Each bite connects the eater with the hands that prepared it decades ago, the hands that nurtured families and communities amidst hardship and joy alike. Moreover, lost recipes highlight the marginalization of African American contributions to American cuisine. Many of these dishes were adapted, appropriated, and transformed over time, often without acknowledgement. By reviving and documenting them, we honor the cultural heritage and creativity of African American ancestors. It's an act of preservation, an acknowledgement of their resilience, and a celebration of the flavors they crafted with care and resourcefulness. In this context, exploring lost recipes is also an educational endeavor. It teaches us about historical contexts, agricultural practices, trade, and migration patterns that influenced what ingredients were available and how they were used. It illustrates the ingenuity required to make nourishing meals from limited resources. By following these recipes today, we experience a connection to past generations and gain an appreciation for the artistry involved in creating meals that sustained communities for centuries. Ultimately, Lost African American Recipes Your Grandparents Knew is an invitation to explore, taste, and honor a culinary heritage that is as rich as it is complex. It reminds us that food is never just sustenance. It is history, memory, identity, and love. By tasting history, we do more than savor flavors, we engage with the stories and legacies that shape who we are today. Continuing the journey through Lost African American Recipes Your Grandparents Knew, we dive deeper into the stories that shaped these dishes. Each recipe is a bridge to the past, a connection to ancestors who had to be inventive with the limited resources they had. Ingredients like cornmeal, okra, and sweet potatoes weren't chosen merely for taste, they were staples that could feed families through harsh seasons. The act of cooking these foods became a form of resistance, preserving culture and memory despite the pressures of assimilation and oppression. Consider the ritual of Sunday dinner in African American households. It was more than a meal. It was a gathering, a celebration, and a transfer of knowledge. Children watched elders measure, season, and stir, often learning the subtleties of flavor and timing that no written recipe could capture. These lessons were sacred, embedding culinary wisdom into the fabric of family life. The knowledge passed down was not just about food, it was about patience, respect, and community. One cannot discuss these lost recipes without acknowledging the ingenuity involved. Many dishes arose out of necessity, turning humble ingredients into hearty, satisfying meals. From the savory aroma of collard greens slowly simmering in a pot, often with smoked meats, to the subtle sweetness of molasses in a pie, each flavor tells a story of resourcefulness. Techniques such as pickling, frying, and slow cooking were employed to stretch ingredients and enhance taste. These methods became signature hallmarks of African American cuisine, influencing generations to come. Tasting history emphasizes experiencing these dishes firsthand. Recreating recipes today allows a modern cook to step into the historical context. Making a pot of gumbo, for example, isn't merely about following instructions, it's about understanding the cultural influences, the blending of African, French, and indigenous traditions that created something uniquely resilient and flavorful. Every spoonful is a lesson in survival, adaptation, and joy, reminding us that these recipes are living artifacts of history. The personal dimension cannot be overstated. Recipes are often tied to memories of family gatherings, holidays, and moments of comfort during times of hardship. A grandmother's fried chicken or a carefully prepared black-eyed pea dish carry stories of migration, community, and the passage of knowledge. These recipes were more than food, they were symbols of identity and belonging, helping maintain a sense of heritage when outside forces sought to erase it. Reviving these recipes also confronts the historical erasure of African American culinary contributions. Many iconic American dishes have African roots, yet the origin stories are frequently overlooked. By reclaiming lost recipes, we honor those who crafted them and ensure that the cultural significance is remembered. It's a form of cultural preservation that allows future generations to taste history in its truest form, connecting past and present through flavor. Moreover, exploring these recipes reveals the deep connections between food, economy, and geography. Ingredients reflect what was locally available, what could be grown or foraged, and how communities adapted their diets to changing circumstances. These adaptations showcase resilience, creativity, and the ability to thrive despite systemic challenges. Understanding these factors enriches our appreciation of the dishes and the people who created them. Ultimately, delving into lost African American recipes is both an educational and emotional journey. It teaches us history, culture, and culinary art while evoking nostalgia and connection. Each dish is a story, a testament to the resilience, creativity, and love that has shaped African American food traditions for centuries. As we continue exploring lost African American recipes your grandparents knew, we uncover the deeper layers of cultural significance embedded in each dish. Every recipe is more than just instructions. It's a reflection of family history, social circumstances, and ancestral ingenuity. African American cuisine, shaped by centuries of struggle and adaptation, reveals a story of resilience, creativity, and community cohesion that has endured despite systemic challenges. Take, for instance, the practice of utilizing every part of an ingredient, a hallmark of African American cooking. Nothing went to waste. Bones became broth, greens were cooked with leftover bits of meat, and even scraps found their way into stews and breads. This wasn't merely frugality, it was an art form, an embodiment of resourcefulness passed down from generation to generation. Through these methods, flavors were layered and textures perfected, creating meals that were both economical and deeply satisfying. The act of cooking itself served as a bridge across generations. Recipes were not typically written down. Instead, they were taught orally, during long afternoons in the kitchen or on bustling weekends preparing for community gatherings. Children learned not just the how, but the why of every step, understanding the importance of timing, seasoning, and care. This hands-on transmission of knowledge preserved more than food, it preserved identity, tradition, and familial bonds. The lost recipes often carried regional influences, reflecting migration patterns and the availability of ingredients. Dishes in the Deep South, for instance, might include okra, black-eyed peas, or collard greens, while northern adaptations could incorporate vegetables and grains more readily available in urban areas. Each variation tells a story about mobility, adaptation, and the cultural blending that shaped African American culinary practices over time. Tasting these dishes today provides insight into these historical dynamics. Tasting history emphasizes this experiential approach, where understanding a dish goes beyond the palate. Recreating these recipes allows us to step into the lived experiences of our ancestors, appreciating the challenges they overcame to sustain families and communities. Every simmering pot, every carefully kneaded dough, embodies the ingenuity and love that turned limited ingredients into nourishing meals that fed generations. Many of these recipes also held symbolic and spiritual significance. Certain dishes were prepared for holidays, celebrations, or rites of passage, linking food to rituals and community gatherings. Black-eyed peas on New Year's Day, sweet potato pies at Thanksgiving, or celebratory fried chicken at weddings each carried meanings beyond taste: hope, prosperity, and familial continuity. Through these culinary practices, history, faith, and tradition intersected, shaping both meals and memories. Moreover, exploring lost recipes underscores the importance of preserving African American heritage. Much of this culinary knowledge risks being forgotten as oral traditions fade. Documenting and reviving these recipes is an act of honoring ancestors, ensuring that their resilience, creativity, and wisdom continue to inspire and nourish. By tasting these recipes today, we engage with history directly, allowing flavors to tell stories that words alone cannot convey. Ultimately, Batch 3 reminds us that African American cuisine is a living archive of struggle, ingenuity, and love. It teaches us not just how to cook, but how to understand and respect the cultural context in which these recipes were born. Every dish is a testament to survival, adaptation, and the enduring power of family, community, and tradition. Diving further into lost African American recipes your grandparents knew, we begin to appreciate the ingenuity and creativity required to craft meals under challenging circumstances. African American ancestors often had to rely on limited ingredients, seasonal produce, and whatever protein was available. Yet from these constraints arose some of the most memorable and flavorful dishes in American culinary history. Each recipe is a testament to human resilience, transforming scarcity into abundance and simplicity into artistry. Consider the use of preserved foods, such as pickled vegetables, salted meats, or smoked fish. These techniques were not only practical, but deeply inventive, extending shelf life and enhancing flavors. Generations learned to balance seasoning, texture, and aroma, often improvising when certain ingredients were unavailable. A dash of spice here, a slow simmer there. These small adjustments carried lessons in patience, observation, and adaptation. In this way, cooking became both an educational and creative practice. Family kitchens were the epicenters of cultural transmission. Recipes were shared orally alongside stories, advice, and humor. Grandparents instructed grandchildren, siblings collaborated, and neighbors exchanged tips. This collaborative environment fostered a sense of belonging and strengthened community ties. Each meal prepared was also an act of storytelling, where flavors conveyed lessons, memories, and love, ensuring that heritage persisted through generations. Tasting history encourages a sensory approach to understanding these recipes. Recreating a lost dish is not merely following steps, it is engaging with the environment, textures, and aromas that shaped the culinary experience. Stirring a pot of gumbo, kneading dough for biscuits, or frying a chicken breast evokes an intimate connection with those who came before, offering insight into their daily lives and celebrations. Every action in the kitchen becomes a link to the past, bridging gaps in time and geography. Moreover, these recipes often reflect the intersections of culture, migration, and adaptation. Ingredients from African, Caribbean, and Southern traditions merge to form distinct regional variations. Dishes like jambalaya, sweet potato pie, and fried catfish carry both personal and collective histories, revealing how communities adapted their culinary practices over time. These adaptations also highlight the resilience of culture under circumstances that sought to erase it. Lost recipes also shed light on the social and economic realities faced by African American families. Creativity was essential when resources were scarce. Techniques such as braising tough cuts of meat, fermenting vegetables, or using legumes for protein demonstrate resourcefulness and ingenuity. Such practices are reminders that food is intimately tied to survival, culture, and identity, reflecting a rich heritage that goes beyond the plate. Ultimately, Batch 4 emphasizes that African American cuisine is both historical and living. It embodies lessons in creativity, resilience, and community, offering nourishment not just for the body, but for the mind and spirit. By exploring, cooking, and tasting these lost recipes, we honor the legacy of our ancestors and continue the traditions that they cultivated with care and devotion. As we reach the final exploration of lost African American recipes your grandparents knew, it becomes clear that these recipes are more than meals, they are vessels of memory, culture, and resilience. Each dish carries echoes of the past, reminding us of the people who labored, loved, and persevered to sustain families and communities. African American cuisine, often overlooked in mainstream culinary history, represents a rich tapestry of innovation, adaptation, and expression. The act of cooking these lost recipes today is both a tribute and a learning experience. It allows us to engage with history in a tangible way, feeling textures, inhaling aromas, and tasting flavors that have traveled through time. From slow-cooked greens to savory pies, every element of these meals provides insight into daily life, community, practices, and the subtle artistry that defines African American culinary traditions. Even the simplest dishes reveal layers of history, resourcefulness, and care. These recipes also serve as cultural markers, connecting us to stories of migration, survival, and adaptation. Ingredients and techniques traveled with families, blending with regional practices and creating distinctive flavors unique to communities across the United States. A single recipe can reflect centuries of experience, illustrating the movement of people, the sharing of knowledge, and the evolution of taste across generations. Tasting these recipes today is an immersive way to understand history and identity simultaneously. Family heritage remains at the core of these culinary traditions. Many recipes were closely guarded, shared selectively, and passed down through hands-on instruction rather than written documentation. This oral tradition ensured that food remained a source of connection, teaching younger generations not just how to cook, but also values, patience, and pride. The kitchen was a classroom, a sanctuary, and a stage for storytelling, where each meal conveyed lessons beyond the ingredients. Reviving lost African American recipes is also an act of recognition and preservation. It counters historical erasure by honoring the creativity, resourcefulness, and cultural contributions of African American ancestors. Documenting and sharing these dishes allows future generations to taste, learn, and appreciate the culinary heritage that shaped American cuisine. Each recreated recipe strengthens the continuity of tradition while celebrating its enduring relevance. In conclusion, these lost recipes remind us that food is never merely sustenance. It is memory, identity, and community. Lost African American Recipes Your Grandparents Knew offers a doorway to understanding history through the senses, honoring those who came before, and inspiring those who follow. By tasting these recipes, we engage in a dialogue with the past, celebrating resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of culture passed down from generation to generation.